Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody. My name is Stephen Alves, and I'm one of the co-directors and co-founders of Life Logistics Network. It's on behalf of our team here of the Life Logistics Network, we would like to offer you a very warm welcome and thank you for joining us here for the Life Logistics Orientation meeting. We're very pleased that you could join us today. Today's meeting is going to last about 40 minutes or so. And to start off the program, we're going to have a sort of a community open mic. I'm going to ask some of you to just go ahead and introduce yourselves, tell us which country you're from, which company you're with, and very briefly tell us what you're doing in the pharmaceutical vertical here in the freight industry. So we're going to go ahead and ask you to switch to the speaker's view. You can change your view so you can take a look at the upper right-hand corner of your Zoom screen and change over to speaker's view. And then we're going to go ahead and ask a few questions, a few people. Let's see if you've got your video on and your audio on, then we can go ahead and ask. I'm going to start with, let me take a look here and see who's available to speak right now. Well, we got Stefan. Stefan, how are you doing? Good to see you.
Yes, here I am. So now I have my speaker on. How are you doing? Good to see you all. Long time no see. Good that we have the opportunity in these times to communicate on this kind of way. Yeah, I'm from Germany, Quick Cargo Service. We're a member of the Life Logistics from day one. One of the co-founders in the group, and happy to be in the network. Of course, we started in a very difficult times due to the Corona and pandemic times, but I think we've been doing very well, particularly in the group. We actually try to support wherever we can members in the network, and we are not exclusively only in the pharmaceutical vertical, but it's a big part of our business. And so we try to get the group involved with any of our moves and businesses we have, whether it's on sales or where we need expertise in certain countries. And it has been big value for us actually to do so and to be able to communicate with companies who understand the business of pharmaceutical business. And it does help us to grow our business. We are more confident, and it's it's not general cargo. This is something which is really special, and there we need people who understand what this business is all about. So very happy to be here, and thank you to being in the group. I mean, if just maybe a few words to Quick Cargo Service. We've been in business since '74, so almost 47 years now, and a family-owned company in Germany with 13 offices. And if we can be of assistance to anyone in the group, please contact me here in Frankfurt. I'm available for you. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, Stefan. Good to see you. Thank you very much. Let's see if we've got anybody else. Let's see here. Is it Al Baptiste? Can you turn your mic on and introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Al Baptiste. I'm with 24/7 Enterprises. We've been in business for 22 years. So glad to see everybody here.
Very good. And where are you located?
We are located in Martinside, New Jersey.
Okay.
EWR. Yeah.
Excellent. Very, very good. Welcome. Welcome. Wellington, how about yourself? Can you turn your mic on and introduce yourself? There we go. We got your mic on. Just go ahead and introduce yourself. All right, we'll pass on over to Mahesh. How are you doing today? I think we need your mic. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Put your mic on. Okay. Having some audio issues there. All right. Well, oh yeah, please. We can hear you now.
Yes, yes. My name is Wellington. We are a logistics company based in Tanzania, East Africa. So we are good to be here. We are a new company. We are a new company in this business. But anyway, we want to know more about this business and get in connection with people That's our plan. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Wellington.
And we
If-
are good to be here also.
Pleasure to have you. Thank you so much. And if anybody else is interested, they don't want to speak up, you can just pop your information, introduce yourself in the chat, and put your contact information in there as well for everybody to have. So we're going to move forward here into the next stage, and I'd like to thank you very much for those who spoke up. We're going to have our introductory video here. We're going to go ahead and run, and here you're going to have a chance to learn a little bit more about Life Logistics. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm Stephen Alves, Director and one of the co-founders of Life Logistics Network. On behalf of the team, it's our pleasure to welcome you to our Life Logistics Orientation Meeting, and welcome to Life Logistics Network as well. Before I begin with introducing Life Logistics to you, I will guide you through the agenda for today. Today's program will last about 30 minutes or so, with the following program. After my presentation about the network, we will be having an open Q&A to answer all your questions about our network, followed by the keynote presentation on logistics trends after COVID-19, and then our 2019 Aftermovie. To start with, RW Solutions is a network management company that was founded in 2002 and has its operations in the Philippines. We currently have 8 freight forwarding networks that are into industry niches. Our networks are very much focused on the handling capabilities of forwarders, from perishables, NVOCC, and FCL, to regional and geographical interests like Africa and the Middle East. By having specialized groups, our members engage into more meaningful business exchanges with more valuable networking across our various brands. At present, we have over 900 members from 100 countries under the RW umbrella. Life Logistics is a specialized network of professional pharmaceutical freight forwarders from different territories across the globe. Life Logistics Network has 48 member offices in 34 countries worldwide. I'd like to share with you some of our photos taken during our annual partnership meeting. Now let me jump straight to the benefits of being part of the network. Life Logistics Network is virtually represented in every corner of the globe. And by being part of the network, you will enjoy instant access to your pharma freight partners that you and your business can rely on. Being part of Life Logistics means that you will work with trusted, screened, and reliable partners. Every new member application undergoes a due diligence to screen the company's financial stability, market reputation, sales strength, and length in operation. All members are likewise subjected to standard code of ethics and guidelines of the network, which must be followed and adhered to at all times. Life Logistics assures that every member is diligently screened. In addition, Life Logistics offers payment security for all members as an added layer of security when working within the group. The network has a payment protection program with $5,000 in immediate dispute protection, which will then increase to $10,000 depending on the years of your stay within the network. Through our conferences, we reduce your cost of traveling from country to meet your overseas partners because Life Logistics conducts an annual partnership meeting. In this meeting, you'll be able to meet and build contacts with hundreds of agents in one place. The annual conferences and meetings must be attended by Life Logistics members to fortify their relationship with the other members. Since the pandemic, we are also actively adapting to the new normal and conducting virtual conferences for our members. We also promote our members and their services to the logistics industry by attending leading exhibitions in different parts of the world. This includes Transport Logistic, Asia Cold Chain Show, CPHI Worldwide, FIATA, the Freight Summit, and many more. Aside from attending leading exhibitions, we also distribute our agency list throughout our global database of around 40,000 freight forwarders. Life Logistics Network will also have its private information environment, which will provide access to exclusive and up-to-date information for the members. We are soon to launch our first Life Logistics Intranet mobile app, enabling ease of access right at your fingertips. Finally, I would like to invite you all to our 3rd annual partnership meeting, which will take place from May 8th through the 11th, 2022 at the Grand Hyatt, Dubai. You'll be able to meet our pharma freight partners in person and broaden your connections through our various activities in this 4-day event. Stay tuned as we will be releasing more details about it in the coming weeks. Thank you for taking the valuable time from your busy schedule to attend the Life Logistics Network orientation meeting. And welcome to Life Logistics, the Global Pharmaceutical Logistics Alliance. Our team is at your service to answer any questions that you may have and to help you to apply for membership. Stay safe and healthy during this time, and I look forward to welcoming you soon as a member of Life Logistics. I hope that you had an opportunity to learn a little bit there about the Alliance and what we're doing here at Life Logistics. Right now, we're going to do what we call the sort of a question and answer, live question and answer period. If you've got some questions, we're here to answer. We've got our team on hand. If you want to pop questions into the chat for later, if you're interested to learn about how to join and become a member, our team is here at your service. So in the first thing that I'd like to do is I'm going to check to see here. If you've got a question, just go ahead and turn your speaker on and your mic on and go ahead and ask. And in the meantime, I'm going to answer a few things of the frequently asked questions that we get. And one of the most frequent asked questions we get is that how many members that we accept in each market. And I can tell you that we accept up to 3 members at a time. If the network believes that we can grow to 5 members because we need it, if we have a need for maybe that's a little bit larger of a market, then we will go ahead and consider doing that. But the goal of the network is to have 3 members, a maximum in a country, and then we would decide from there if we need to open the market up anymore. If you're interested to find out how many members we have in your country, you can reach out to us in the chat, pop your email address in there, and our team will get back to you to answer your questions. Just looking through here, most of you don't have your screens on, mics on, so I'm gonna feel free to just jump in and ask a question if you have one. What the questions we briefly went over in the
Hello,
yes, please. Who am I speaking with?
I'm Daniela Bejarano from El Jackie International in Colombia, South America.
How are you today, Daniela?
Fine, thank you. I wanted to ask, we are actually part of other networks. What will be the difference of joining this? I know it's a pharmaceutical logistics alliance, but what's the difference? Like, what are the benefits on this area?
Well, the specific benefits, as you mentioned, this is the pharma-focused group. So here you note that it's the main difference from a general cargo group here is that the members that we allow in to this alliance have expertise and focus in the pharmaceutical vertical, so that you can approach when you go to your pharmaceutical clients. You have the opportunity to tell them that you're part of the Life Logistics Global Network and that the partners at the other end will be able to handle their shipments with as much care as you handle them at your end. So that's a very key part of being part of a vertical market alliance, because it's very crucial that your partners can handle to the same standards that you can within this time frame and within the context of pharmaceutical. There's very specific ways that pharmaceutical shipments need to be handled, and in general, a general cargo network is not going to be able to provide that for you. So that's the specific benefit that we see as a top benefit from joining our alliance. The other one is that we're being part of Life Logistics brings you part of also a family of logistics companies that also reach into some other niche markets as well.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hi, Stephen. I have a quick question regarding the northeast of United States. How many 3PL companies that you have as far as providing warehousing and last mile delivery for your clients here in the United States?
So for the warehousing and last mile, I'll have our team reach back out to you with the exact details, but I'm not sure. I don't know that we have one in the Eastern United States that's doing the warehousing and last mile delivery. So that's definitely an area that we could use a strong member such as yourself to be part of the group.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I do have another question. Do you have any partners in Colombia, in South America?
I don't believe we have one in Colombia right now. Have our team confirm back to you.
Okay,
And
thank you.
and your company is working in the pharmaceutical industry with clients there in Colombia, yes?
Yes, we do. We
Excellent.
in Colombia, we need a certification to handle this type of cargo. Yeah,
Okay.
like the storage have to be certified by has to be certified. So this certification is, we have this certification.
Okay, excellent. That's good to learn. We'll be glad to further conversations with you about joining into our group. Thank you very
Yes.
much for your question. The one of the questions that we have is how do we background check the partners? We do that through the FDRS, the Freight Deadbeat Solution local associations, and we check. Our team does background checks on reputation in the industry. We're looking for any records of fraud. So we do. Our team works hard to make sure that the only members we allow into the group are financially stable and ready to participate in the alliance, and also to make sure that they're truly in the pharmaceutical vertical. One of the other questions. Yeah, yes, please.
I have another question. I'm sorry about that, Steve. For the event that you guys are gonna have in Dubai,
Yes.
do you guys plan to have a face-to-face meeting between the logistics company and the pharma freight forwarders? At least like we could have a meeting set up before we even go to this event.
Yes, absolutely. The agenda is generally we have welcome cocktails, and we have sort of a general meeting, and then we have the face-to-faces. The bulk of the meeting of the conference is the face-to-face meetings, because that's the most important to the members to develop the business and relationships with the fellow members. And all of those meetings are set in advance. One of the questions we also get is about protection and payment protection in the group, and we do have that payment protection. The amount depends on the length of time in the group, and our team is happy to send that information to you. But just to confirm that Life Logistics does have a payment protection plan in place.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Hello, here is Janaína from Piberna in Brazil. Do you have members in Brazil already?
We do have one member in Brazil at this point. So we do have space available for another member. Where are you located in Brazil?
In South and Southeast. We have offices in São Paulo, Santos, and south of Brazil, Curitiba, Porto Alegre, Itajaí. So we have 11 branches here in Brazil.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, but we on the pharma industry, we work only at customs as customs broker. We are part of other global network, and we handle other kind of goods, but on the transportation, we are not handling pharma yet, but we act as broker on the pharma industry.
Okay, that's a good niche that could fit very well into our Brazil coverage. So let's absolutely discuss further. Obrigado for your question.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, very good. Are there any other questions that we can move on? If there aren't any other questions, if you think of one as we move forward. Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, please, Steve. One quick question, please. We are, as I told you, we are a new company. We are a new company in East Africa. We are based in Tanzania. But anyway, we want to know the criteria for joining the network or standard, whatever you can call it. So we want to know the standard or criteria then for us to join. It's a new company for us.
Okay, very good. If you could pop your contact information into the chat, and our team will send you the full information on what the criteria is to join the group. And then we can continue the discussion directly offline with you about the criteria.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay, if there's no other questions, if you have one that comes up in your mind, pop it into our chat group and our team will get back to you with an answer for you. And thank you very much. What we're going to do next is we have a keynote speech by Mr. Mark Miller, and he's going to be talking about logistics dynamics in this new world of COVID-19 and where does it go from here. So let's hear what Mr. Miller has to say.
Hello, this is Mark Miller, author of the book Global Supply Chain Ecosystems. I am pleased to be able to share with you my thoughts and insights about the COVID-19 impact on global supply chains. We are now on the cusp of a thrilling new era for supply chain. This coronavirus crisis has vividly exposed the profound interdependencies in today's global supply chain ecosystems and powerfully demonstrated the intrinsic risks in our complex, connected, volatile world. In this presentation, I will explore the supply chain ramifications of COVID-19, which is already proving to be a super accelerator of some pre-existing megatrends, including globalization shifts, digital disruption, and the e-commerce frenzy. The next normal will be characterized by uncertainty. But what is certain is that this virus will have significant supply chain implications, both over the short-term 12 to 18 months, but also over the subsequent 2 to 3 year medium term, such that supply chain 2025 will be substantially different on multiple dimensions. The initial impact of COVID-19 was supply-side gridlock, as mainland China went into a coronavirus-induced hibernation just after the extended Chinese New Year holidays. This resulted in global shortages of components and products, making it powerfully and painfully apparent just how global supply chains have become inextricably dependent upon China. COVID then embarked on its own globalization journey, spreading fear and uncertainty around the world as healthcare systems became overwhelmed. Widespread lockdowns ensued, with shops and businesses closing. High street retail came to an abrupt halt, triggering the most dramatic collapse in demand. The exceptions, of course, being medical supplies and equipment, which experienced an unprecedented surge in demand. As consumers became unable or unwilling to venture out of their homes, shopping for groceries and household essentials moved online en masse, turbocharging the e-commerce frenzy and generating unparalleled volume growth in small packages for home deliveries. Then, just as China started to reopen their economy and factories were getting back to work, production orders were getting cancelled due to excess inventories and lack of demand. And so global supply chains ground to a halt. As these extraordinary supply chain shocks reverberated around the world, companies are being forced to urgently reevaluate their sourcing strategies, business models, and distribution channels. This inevitably resurfaced discussions about the relocation of offshored production. Let's recap. Nearshoring is the relocation of production activities closer to the market where the products are going to be consumed. Onshoring, also known as reshoring, is one step further. whereby production is moved back into the country where the goods are going to be consumed. These are not new topics. Recall other huge supply chain shocks such as the Fukushima earthquake, the Iceland volcano, and the Thailand floods. They all triggered animated nearshoring discussions, championing the need to relocate production closer to the final consumption markets. However, what typically happens is that enthusiasm for change tends to dissipate as things soon get back to normal and companies realize the actual enormity of truly reconfiguring their supply chains. But this time is different. This time, I believe, nearshoring will become more than just talk for a number of reasons. Firstly, this COVID crisis is much more severe in impact and global in reach than previous supply chain shocks. The consequences from a supply chain perspective will be much deeper, much wider, much more long-lasting. Secondly, this COVID predicament is intertwined with massive geopolitical tensions between the world's superpowers, tensions which have already triggered some companies to relocate the production of their US-destined products in order to avoid the US tariffs on China-sourced imports. And thirdly, with the continuing growth in emerging markets and the increase in intra-regional trade, globalization had already become somewhat stalled. And so with the increasing polarization between East and West, coupled with lingering frustrations about differences in business practices, I believe it's inevitable there will be some decoupling, resulting in changes to global trade flows. And so COVID becomes the catalyst that actually stimulates companies into taking real action on reshoring and nearshoring initiatives, which will reduce dependencies and diversify risks, but will obviously result in shorter supply chains. However, relocating your supply chain is much easier said than done. This is not for the faint-hearted. Today's supply chains have been built up and fine-tuned and developed over a number of years, if not decades. They cannot just be readily untangled, packed up and moved elsewhere. This is a serious undertaking, whether nearshoring or reshoring. It's a project that's likely to be measured in years, not weeks or months. And whilst COVID is the catalyst for companies to take action, COVID-related restrictions will inhibit the process of reconfiguring the supply chain by nature of travel, related limitations, and of course the restriction on in-person exchanges. Accelerating the process, on the other hand, will be government incentives. The United States, with much fanfare, has announced grants and subsidies and tax relief for American companies that relocate their manufacturing back into the United States of America and create American jobs. It's not just America. Canada, Korea, some European countries have all announced initiatives to encourage the relocation of manufacturing. Japan, for example, has allocated a $2.2 billion fund to help Japanese companies repatriate their manufacturing back into Japan and create local jobs. Now, of course, in these first world economies, there's a concern about the high cost of labor. And this is where I believe we'll see automation come readily into play. Robotics and automation are substantially lower cost now than they were 20 or 30 years ago when we started the offshoring globalization journey. And readily available, economically viable automation solutions will ease the process of reshoring manufacturing back into developed market economies. Now, for nearshoring, the key beneficiaries need to obviously be in close proximity to the final consumption market and have lower cost platforms. So the key contenders For the United States market, for example, would be Mexico as the leading contender, leveraging the North American Free Trade Agreement as well. For European markets, Eastern European countries such as Poland, Turkey, Hungary would be leading contenders as nearshoring platforms. So nearshoring will reduce reliance on Asia in general and China specifically, and we'll see the supply chains being typically much more regionally focused and therefore shorter. They could be configured as made in Latin America for America or made in Eastern Europe for Europe. However, this will in no way result in a mass exodus of manufacturing outside of China, but we will see some diversification across the Asia region. Several reasons for this. First of all, we are now firmly in the Asian century. 1/3 of global GDP is in Asia. We are home to 1.8 billion people in the consuming class. And by the year 2030, Asia will represent 2/3 of the world's middle class. So made in Asia for Asia will remain a very viable supply chain strategy for generations to come. And this will enable companies to capitalize on the huge potential across Asia's emerging economies. At the same time, more and more companies will also be diligently exploring their China Plus options, looking for additional locations around Asia for sourcing and production of products and components where there is abundant labor that is lower cost than the China labor has become. Different sectors will have a different mobility, if you like. Garments, footwear, sports goods, furniture, their supply chains are relatively mobile or movable, certainly compared to much more complex products and supply chains like high-tech electronics, household goods, and automobiles. So the leading contenders around the Asia region, they vary by industry segment. But Vietnam, Indonesia, India, Bangladesh, Cambodia, these are all contenders for post-pandemic divergence of production activities that can leverage their low-cost labor markets. However, none of these alternatives can match the huge extent of China's resources. China remains the clear leader in both scale and scope, leveraging its massive infrastructure investments over the last 20 years and its huge workforce. And for that very reason, many supply chains will remain in China, or at least remain China-centric. And that includes all the multinational companies who are selling into China's enormous domestic market, whether they are targeting the consumer or the industrial segments. Such companies will retain within China all their manufacturing, sourcing, and assembly activities for goods destined for sale in the domestic China market in the supply chain strategy that is now known as in China for China. So in summary, the consequences of COVID-19 will result in a step change for global trade as we know it, spelling the end of 30 years of globalization. Post-pandemic, the next normal will see some radical reconfiguration of global supply chains, adopting a much more regional and localized approach. Evolving through to year 2025, we can expect to see widespread deployment of shorter supply chains that increase control, increase responsiveness, and increase resilience, whilst also reducing lead times, reducing transport costs, and reducing emissions, and helping to mitigate risk. And so in times of such great uncertainty, it is best to be prepared. Companies should be planning for the worst, hoping for the best, and always expect the unexpected.
Well, a great thank you to Mr. Miller for the keynote speech. He always puts together a very good presentation, and I think it really covers well what we're all facing here in life during the COVID era in logistics. So what I would like to ask you is, what's in it for you now to join Life Logistics? Why should you join us now? And I'd like to tell you that we are offering for everybody who's attended today a special package to join with us, which would include 2 passes to our upcoming conference, which is going to take place in Dubai in May. We're very excited about that, and it's been a while since we met in person, so we're happy to do that. Everyone has not had a chance to do the face-to-face meetings in a while, and we think it's really crucial that we get back in front of each other and have that opportunity to meet face-to-face. So we're going to be having that conference in May, and we'll be offering 2 passes to those who join us from this conference, from this meeting today. Once you become a member of Life Logistics, your company is going to be announced and promoted as part of our global network across all of the platforms that we have, across to our database of freight forwarders, and to further promote your business amongst the network and the industry. So we'll be doing that for you. You'll be added to our network agency list, where you're going to be also able to see what the other members, when you're in this list, you can see how the other members are protected, what level of protection they have when you work with them. You're also going to have access to our new mobile and web intranet and also our WhatsApp community. But we'll be rolling out this new mobile and web app intranet and introducing it at the conference, and you'll have access through our WhatsApp group, which is exclusive for us, so it'll be real-time communication with the partners. And finally, like I said, you're going to be able to attend our 3rd annual partnership meeting, which is going to take place from May 8th through 11th at the Grand Hyatt in Dubai. And we would really look forward to welcoming you all there to meet with us and see all the fellow members. And I'd really like to invite you after this conference to pop your information in and your questions in the chat, and our team will be happy to answer any questions that you have regarding the group, as well as help you through the membership application process to get you on board as soon as possible so we can see you in Dubai at our conference. I'd like to thank you very much for taking your time to join us today, and I hope that that this was fruitful, that you learned a little bit about our group, and that you're now interested to become a full formal member of Life Logistics Alliance. And before we go, it's like I said, it's been a little bit of time since we had our last conference, and we'd just like to show a little bit of highlight reel, short reel, so that you can see what we did at our last conference, which was in Vietnam. I'm sorry, in Macau. That was an excellent conference, and I'm really looking forward to getting back in person and seeing all of our members coming up soon in Dubai. To officially end our program today, we're going to be popping up a survey on your screen, and you take a quick second to answer the questions on there, and submit those. In the meantime, I'd like to thank you again for taking the time out of your busy schedules, no matter what time of the day it is, day, evening, night, morning for you, and welcome you again to Life Logistics, and hope to welcome you as a formal member in the coming days. So thank you for taking the time to join us, and have a pleasant evening, morning, day. Thank you again.